All you business owners and business salespeople out there, remember, just because someone says yes doesn't mean the deal is done. Welcome to Unearth, the Shelly Hughes podcast. I am Shelly Hughes. In this podcast, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of building a passionate, profitable brand. We talk about the wins, the losses, and especially lessons learned, which will be the focus of today in building a company that you've always dreamt of. And just so you know, shout out to all those who are in business development people, entrepreneurs, business leaders who are in event season. I just want to say, I see you, I hear you, and the holidays will come soon enough. Event season is a very interesting time, and this is a little bit of a tangent. It's just go, 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 go. I've said this before. It's kind of between August 29th and October 29th. And luckily, today I'm recording this on October 30th, where it's just non-stop events. And my poor executive assistant, whom I love dearly, has her work cut out for her now with all the meetings and follow-ups and all the things that she is supporting me with. So Valentina, thank you. I appreciate you. But today I want to get into, again, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of running a profitable, passionate brand. And today I want to talk to you about kind of the ugly, right, that I ran into this time last year. And I want to set the scene. It was the end of last year, and we had two of the biggest contracts ready to sign on the dotted line. Biggest contracts we've ever had. And it was all happening at once, and both contracts were about to be signed. We were going to stagger them a little bit, but we had everyone in place. We were ready to do an incredible job for these two incredible clients. They were ideal clients, ideal budgets. Everything was aligned, ideal problems that we were just born to solve. We had verbal yeses, we had amazing conversations, and still both deals fell through. And this is the really hard lesson that business development people deal with all the time, but entrepreneurs as well, which if you go into entrepreneurship and you don't think you're going to be in business development, it's possible, but most likely you're going to have a wake-up call at some point. But this is the hard lesson that every business owner faces when they feel like they're doing everything right, but this deal still doesn't close. And so, for the first deal, it's something I want to recommend is don't fall in love with the almost. So the first deal, it was, again, this company was awesome. They needed fractional CMO support. They needed a lot of execution, which was all just really in our wheelhouse. But at the end, they said, they had an agency that they were trying to fire, but at the end, it was too much of a lift to fire their old agency. And their agency was, quote, just fine for now. And this was after, a month of building out, what strategy could look like and what the relationship could look like, and even helping them navigate what, terminating a contract with their past agency could look like. Like, we were there. And there was, of course, all the spin selling, right? We did everything in a business development sales viewpoint. We did everything right, but there was still no green light. And we had the decision maker, we had everything, right? And what I realized was it's not our job to take a customer out of their comfort zone, to try something new. And I tell customers this and clients this in the forefront, like, we are not a vendor, we are a partner. And what that means is we're going to challenge you. So if you do not like to be challenged, we're probably not the best partner for you. And to that too, we're not here to help you get out of your comfort zone. So with this specific client, that's kind of what I and my team fell into. We were trying to be you got this, you can do it. And real talk was, and the lesson was, I really fell in love with the maybe. I fell in love with the almost. I fell in love with the walk and not the talk, right? And what I realized is that instead of falling in love with the dangling of the apple or whatever it is, it's more important to fall in love with the momentum. And momentum comes from a healthy pipeline. The second deal was truly an ideal client through and through. It was our contact was part of a corporate social responsibility element of this very, very large company, really giving back to their community. And our contact wanted us, but what I quickly realized was they were so new that they didn't, even though they were head of the department, they were so new that they didn't really want to ruffle very many feathers. And the agency they went with, they were known by another department, which makes sense. this agency they went with. Other department heads and people on the team already worked with this agency. And essentially what they were doing was kind of this, this 3-bid system, I'm sure, which a lot of you guys know with RFPs. With this one, it was very interesting. I helped my contact write the RFP. She had no idea how to do that, and I supported her, right? And for the second one, it's this balance of, okay, sometimes things are out of your contact's control. Sometimes they're out of our control. But what I realized was with this one, when you're working with a gatekeeper, and even though this person was kind of the head of the department and very, very well respected, at a point she was still the gatekeeper, right? And sometimes the gatekeeper is, someone lower on the totem pole. Sometimes it is the executive assistant to someone higher up, and what I realized is when you're working with a gatekeeper, don't just try to sell them, truly empower them. We worked with this strategy with a client of ours because they were having trouble actually closing deals. And so we said, okay, what is that? What are those friction points when you are maybe working with a gatekeeper and you have to turn them into a brand advocate to sell them to their higher up. So some of the things that we thought about were creating decision decks and decision guides, internal pitch decks, even, invite that person on your podcast so they truly turn into, from kind of it's an inconsequential, they don't really mind either way kind of person to someone who's truly an evangelist and is going to stand up for you and, what you offer in your service, really to help the challenge that they have going on. Invite them on your podcast, right? Treat the gatekeeper like the VIP because they hold more weight than you probably think. You just have to activate them and make sure they know that they are appreciated. So they go from being kind of indifferent to really pushing and rooting for you. I've even I've had people that they send cookies and treats and all these other things to the executive assistant of the person that they're trying to get a meeting with. And again, sales is weird. Sales sometimes is slimy. It's odd, but what sales is relationship building. Just last night, it's funny. I was at a Chamber of Commerce event and we were at the Lincoln Financial Field and it was a wonderful event. There were a couple of remarks that were happening and there was a man about probably 15 feet away from me. He dropped his drink and at the link they have these aluminum cups, so it was pretty loud, and he dropped his drink and no one was doing anything about it. So, of course, I got my napkins, I went over, I got on the floor, helped him clean up his drink that was obviously almost full to the brim. And he's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's no big deal, right? I won't get specific into his position, but he is very much a relationship builder and relationship manager with the middle market. And he said, I want to introduce you to whoever you want to be introduced to. We're also having an event next Wednesday. I want you to come. Here are the details. And I say this because, and I'm kind of going back and forth, but I say this because sales is all about building out relationships to not just pretend, but truly show that you care about the person that you're talking to. I love when I get into networking calls and, I was just in a networking call yesterday and I think it was yesterday. And we started talking about knee surgeries and it ended, we didn't talk about business at all. We talked about knee surgeries, family, travel, all this kind of stuff, college, and it transitioned to him asking me if I wanted to be a host on a radio show that he's involved with. So it's stop talking about yourself, right? Start figuring out how can I make this person feel appreciated because they are appreciated. So anyway, when I put all my eggs in the basket, I was so focused on closing these deals. I fell in love with the idea of these deals closing. I did everything I could to focus on closing these deals. And for reasons out of our control and out of our responsibility, now their deal closed. And it was a huge wake-up call. It was a very ugly time. It was, income that I was really looking forward to, that I was relying on, and it just didn't come to fruition. And the truth across both of these deals that I've kind of realized is the decision is made in that first discovery call, not at the close. And so, I think for the first one, I think the first guy knew that he probably wasn't going to go with someone else, but he was just curious, right? And same thing with the second one. She knew that she didn't have 100% of the power, but she just wanted to see kind of what was out there. And if someone is uncertain in the beginning of your sales conversation, no amount of follow up will make them become certain. And the strategy here that I want to push to you is really focusing on the discovery call as your close, right? The discovery call should go into, this is what we heard. This is how we've solved this for clients. This is how it's going to affect you, right? If we are able to get to this solution or this milestone that you're looking for. And it's not, and when you're talking about, okay, this is what it can do for you. I'm not saying, from a marketing perspective, let's say a client has an issue where they really need some support in digital advertising, for example, right? Or let's say it's fractional CMO work. They say there's a bunch of marketing happening at the company. It's marketing chaos. Nothing's really getting done, but everyone's being busy. And so we say, okay, we hear you. This is what we heard. All those things. This is how we solve this for clients. We offer our fractional CMO services where we are truly the leader of your marketing, where we can be independent. You don't have to chase after us. We'll make sure that, it's C-suite leadership that ensures that marketing directly aligns with business goals. And if it's not, we're going to be the ones responsible to take action about it and lead and manage the team. What does that do for this company leader? One, we could say something like, what it will do for you. It'll, we'll develop a strategy. We'll do all these things. Like those are the deliverables, but that's not what they care about. They care about what is their life going to look like after they say yes and sign the contract. What their life is going to look like is they're not going to have to hop on every single marketing meeting that they don't have time for. They are going to not waste their money anymore. Marketing is no longer going to be overhead. They're going to be able to put that money to something that is, they're going to be able to make money off the marketing efforts to be able to build the business, right? So when you think of how this is going to affect you once you sign on the dotted line, paint a picture of what their life is going to look like. And obviously, it's going to be a better outcome than before, or else you probably shouldn't be giving them a proposal in the first place. So the mindset here is go deep into their pain, right? Make them feel seen, and make the risk of not choosing you feel real. And here's the thing, the hardest part of this, it's about diversifying or dying. The hardest part is that I was so focused on these two golden deals at the end of last year that I wasn't open or wasn't focused on opening others. And in this economy with these shifts, we can't rely on just one yes. And one thing we've been challenged with the past few years actually is just these really long sales cycles. I know a lot of people have been dealing with long sales cycles, but we're like, okay, maybe, we're doing things to help shorten those sales cycles, but one of the big things is what I've realized is clients can't focus on and prospects can't focus on two projects at the same time. So another client, they were trying to sell and buy a new building, a new commercial building. It was a huge commercial building, and they couldn't sell. They were having hiccups in selling their building. They couldn't sell their building and sign our contract in the same month because they were so focused on kind of putting out these fires, they couldn't think about the opportunity. And that's where I feel like fear mongering comes in a lot because it's so easy, right? Most people make decisions off of fear, i.e., putting out fires, rather than make decisions based on opportunity. And so I'm not telling you to fear monger. I'm not saying that at all. But what I've learned is, yes, let's figure out a way to shorten that sales cycle, but also make sure that the top of our pipeline is so healthy that, some deals might close in 30 days. Some deals might not close for 2 years, right? And we have to make sure that we are prepared for that. And we don't need things to close right away because they might get out of our control. And so practical tip here is to keep new conversations moving even while closing old ones. And no one builds a stable relationship based off of hope. So that momentum, fall in love with that momentum, not these kind of golden, shiny object deals. So, with all this, again, good, the bad, and the ugly of business, this is definitely sometimes the ugly that every entrepreneur realizes and falls into. This was not a sales failure. It was a leadership wake up call. And you don't just need sales skills, you truly need sales systems to protect your peace and protect your power. And I really, really believe that hope is not a pipeline and charisma is not a close. You can't charismatize your way to closing a deal. It'll help, but make sure that you rebuild your systems so that it doesn't break when a deal does. And you're not just like saying like, "Ooh, we have these deals that are about to sign, like let's send them more flowers." Flowers probably isn't going to make or break the deal. Get really good at that opening sales call. Get really good at truly genuinely caring about solving their problem and helping them as individuals and caring about them as individuals, and you're going to see a big difference. So that is my kind of soapbox on part of the ugly truth about sales. If you like this episode, if you think someone that you know is going through the same thing that I went through this time last year, please send this over. Give us a rate, give us a review, give us a follow. That really helps kind of get these episodes in more people's earbuds. So I appreciate your time. I'll see you next week.